Hey guys, welcome back. Got a new video for you. This is a little elephant project that I'm doing, a time-lapse polymer clay sculpting demonstration, and this is part 9 of a video series. In this video, I'm putting the tusks that I made in the last video onto the elephant. I'm embedding them. I'm also making a little mouth for him here, but the way I break it down in this video makes it super simple, and I hope it helps you. So without further ado, let's get started. Before digging in, the first thing I did was put these temporary eyes on here. They're just black seed beads, glass beads. I put one on either side. They're just placeholders to let me know where the real eyes are going to be. Well, they're not real eyes, but you know, the clay eyes. Also, the head is slightly tilted. It's got a slight little tilt to it. And these other two marks that I made, slightly below and slightly in front, are where I'll be digging in to install these tusks that I made in the last video. If you happen to miss that video, I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video. But I'm going to just place these onto the sculpture pretty much like this, in this angle. I can't really turn this and show you at the same time, but I just wanted to make sure that the trunk could pass through there. Here's a side view. Kind of follows along the natural curve of the trunk that I got going on here. And I like to bend these things to where they go towards where they can embed easier. So I'll just dig this out with just any old tool. And I'm trying to dig down deep enough to where I can get these in there fairly decent. Trying to be careful not to disturb the rest of the clay as well. See how now you can see how it looks. It looks like giant nostrils, but even those got like a slight tilt and everything matches up. That's why I wanted to put the eyes on there first. Oh, and I figured out how to place the eyes on by looking at it directly overhead and directly head on to come up with those spots. Now I just put these tusks in there. I just stuck them in there, and I'm trying to make sure they look pretty much even from the side. And once I get them looking good, well, where I'm happy with them, which this right here looks pretty good. I like how that looks. There's plenty of room for that trunk to go through there, and it just looks natural. So now I just want to pack in some clay, kind of collapse the area around it, and then pack some clay in. All I'm trying to do is keep it from moving around. I want it to stay put. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just using tiny pieces of clay. You see how I collapsed that in there? The holes were bigger than the object. So I'm just making sure it's got a nice snug fit all around. And I'll show you how I get the rest of the clay on there here next. It's a quite brilliant way, I think, to get because there's skin that connects where my tool is right now. It kind of runs up along the trunk, almost like a ridge of just skin. So to achieve that, I just made one of these like tapered snakes, and I'll show you how I made one. I just took a little ball of clay and roll it out. I kind of lean towards one end more than the other, and it gives it a tapered look. I want them both to be the same, pretty much. And I run it along that trunk down to the tusk and kind of fold it over the last little piece. That acts as a guide. I won't be touching that. That's going to be final. That's how I want it to look. So now, after popping off the eyeball, it was in my way. I'm backfilling that with more clay, just little tiny pieces of clay to fill that in. I'm trying to shape the clay, to where it'll fill in the void a lot better too, to save some work and make things, the flow better or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense or not. So then I would just tool those on and add a little more if it looks shallow. This is kind of just, I'm eyeballing it. Basically I want to take that piece that I added and flow it to the other part where it seems like it was natural, and you can see where it was unfinished on the other side. Here's the other side. This is a different angle, so maybe you'll see a little bit different here, but I run it along the trunk, fold it over at the bottom, and you see it head on. It still matches up. Everything's symmetrical and it's working. And then I'm doing the same thing on this side, just backfilling it with some more clay. It's so weird how I don't know, this is just how I saw how to do this, and a lot of times I don't know how I figure out these things or where it really comes from. But now I'm backfilling this one on this side. I didn't do the inner side on the left, but I did do the inner side on the right. I don't know, there was an editing issue there. But now this side's all done, and once I get it smooth pretty good, I just run my thumb along it, and I take all that tool work out pretty easily with my magical thumb. Now I'm cleaning up the left side that you didn't see me do. But relax, I did film the other side. I don't know what happened to that footage. But I'm just trying to clean it up to where there's no gaps, basically. Later on, when you see the mouth come on, when the mouth goes on, there's the lining where the crack of the mouth is not done yet. I'll be doing that during the details. But here's the other side. I basically did it like the other side, the outer sides that you've already seen. Same principle. I just backfill it with a little piece of clay. It's just a little more difficult in this area because I have the tusks in the way. Kind of cornered off that a little bit to get it less round. And here's another little scene where I'm backfilling that, trying to be careful not to move the tusks around and try not to be too, forceful with the sculpture itself. And that pretty much is what went into getting these tusks embedded onto the sculpture. Now, tell me that wasn't simple. That was simple. That's pretty easy, I think. I think that's pretty easy. And now it looks like the skin accommodates that. They come out, they wrap around it, and it'll look believable. Filling in one more low spot, and that'll pretty much sum up this part, and then it's off to making the mouth. First, before I make the mouth, I want to do like this little detail on this trunk. That this is basically the upper lip to an elephant. They don't have an upper lip, and this is what you would call like an angel tuck. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. I'm just kind of making it deeper in the middle. Well, I can't really explain it. You can see what's going on there. I'm using this tool and then drag my thumb back across it. I wanted to do this first and then put the mouth on. That way I didn't have to mess with that anymore. It seemed like it made sense to me to go about it that way. So here it is with the tusks, and the clay is, all formed up around it. I got the clay there and all, and that weird detail on the upper lip trunk thing is done. Now for the mouth, I'm making that by forming up a ball of clay shaped like a pyramid or triangle. Take your pick. And after a quick little side view to see how it looks, I'm pushing on there and wiggling, pushing and wiggling, pushing and wiggling to really get it to bond to that other piece of clay. And then to further make it permanently on there, I'm just kind of compressing the clay back in the back of the mouth. It needs to be kind of like hollow back there anyways. Bringing the jaw back up a little bit. Notice this has the same slight tilt as everything else that's been going on here. Trying to stay consistent with that. Now I'm just spooning out some clay of its mouth to to make it like a mouth. And this is another little ball of clay that I just cut the end of it off and I stuck it back in there, and that's pretty much the tongue. They got these great big old fat tongues. And I did this little detail down at the bottom lip too, kind of like up at the top. Now this lip is, or jaw, whatever you want to call it, it is a little bit big, but I can trim it back later on if I need to. For this last part, I'm cutting the corners back into the mouth. The tusks are basically inside the animal's mouth, and the skin kind of wraps around that. So the way I had it, it was just completely surrounded by clay. So I needed to cut some seams in there and make it look more believable. I may choose to refine some of this stuff later on in a texturing video, but for now, the clay's on there and it's believable. Well guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. It means a lot. Please like this video. It helps me. I need all the help I can get. If you missed the video on how I made these tusks, here is the link to that. Looking forward to hearing from all you guys. Let me know what you think about the project so far. Does this seem simple how I did the tusks? Or just let me know what you think. In the next video, I'll be doing the ears and getting the eyes done. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again here real soon.